At the last round of the Dunlop Series, the form drivers of the championship started to take control.
It's a breakthrough for the first time. Cam Waters wins in the Dunlop Series. It's Walsh who gets the job done. He wins race 2.
It means a lot to me and the boys to come here to Winton and win. This is a really great one for us and the team.
But the most credentialed pilot in the field still has the points lead. Can he hold on, or will the new school give the old school a lesson? We're about to find out as the cars travel to the west coast of Australia to take on one of the most action-packed tracks on the calendar.
Hi everyone and welcome to Barbagallo Raceway, round 3 today of the Dunlop Series for V8 Supercars from here in Perth, Western Australia. Honours are even so far in this championship. Paul Dumbrell and Ash Walsh have won a round each, but the young guns are starting to make their mark. Cam Waters has won a race at Winton, Andre Heimgartner's moving closer, and Gary Jacobson's becoming a factor as well. This weekend it's all about some longer races, making sure you look after the rubber on this abrasive track. This track though is all about home track knowledge. Dean Fiore's a guy who knows all about it. He's going to be a Nissan Endurance Cup driver later in the year. He's here to make his Dunlop Series debut and get ready for September.
The Dunlop Series continues to attract high-profile drivers, and this weekend, hometown speedster Dean Fiore will grid up. The former V8 Supercars main game regular isn't driving full-time this year, but wants to be race fit for the endurance races, where he will partner Michael Caruso in a Norton Nissan.
Yeah, I've never been in the Dunlop Series before, but I've obviously watched it from the pit box, and just in the first 2 practice sessions, it's really, really good. The level of competition in that top 10 to 15 is outstanding, you know. I mean, you've got some really experienced names there as well, like in Paul Morris, you know, he's been around a long time. Paul Dumbrell doing the same thing, keeping his eye in. The competition's fierce.
Dunlop Series points leader Paul Dumbrell is also clocking up some valuable miles ahead of pairing with Jamie Whincup for the Enduro Cup. 2 rounds in, he might be leading, but says he's yet to hit his straps.
Certainly would like to be winning the races more than finishing second or third, but yeah, we'll get the speed up and going in the next couple of rounds.
Queensland-based Ash Walsh had been ruining opportunities due to tardy starts, but he rectified that at Winton, a track used for testing by the Victorian-based teams. In race 2, he blasted from 8th to 2nd by the first corner and came away with a round win.
To take a win at their home track was really special, and obviously, you know, being the second round, important for the championship. So, you know, it's still early days and it's quite tight in the points, so it's going to be, it looks like, you know, you've got to win races this year to win the championship, so that's what I'm going to concentrate on doing.
Cameron Waters continues to be a driver to watch after securing his first race win at Winton. His car has the pace, but tyre conservation may be an issue.
38 laps is it's a big distance, and around here it's even worse because the track's quite hard on the tyres. So yeah, tyre life will be quite the key to winning these races. And yeah, reverse top 10 for the second race again, so that'll be interesting.
Paul Morris is 5th in the championship and appears to have renewed focus as he prepares to partner Ford Performance Racing's Chaz Mostert in the endurance races.
Now, when I'm out there, I'm probably more thinking towards Bathurst and the endurance races and just logging the miles and not getting into too many dust-ups. You know, when you've got a reputation of being a bit of a hard nose, if there's a close call, it's always going to, you know, go the wrong way on me. So, you know, if I can let everyone know that I'm not out to, you know, smash people in the nose, that's what I need to be doing.
Time to check out the points and how they sit currently in the Dunlop Series. Just 22 points separating Paul Dumbrell and Ash Walsh, but Cam Waters, after that win at Winton, is starting to make up some ground. Can he continue that form this weekend? Well, he doesn't have pole position because Ash Walsh for the Infants Friend team and Matt Stone Racing have taken pole, and they're continuing their hot streak over here in the West. Ash Walsh with $500 thanks to Armour All is your pole sitter here at Barbagallo Raceway. Time to get them out onto the grid. 2 races for the Dunlop Series this weekend. The big names including Paul Dumbrell back here in WA for the Dunlop Series, and the first race is coming your way after this.
Whoa, we got one off the back.
Dunlop Series is on deck now. Race 1 of the weekend, round 3 of the series. Greg Murphy's back alongside me for this one, and Ash Walsh has put it on pole and is fresh from winning the last round that we had back at Winton, going back some weeks. Paul Dumbrell, championship leader, he's alongside on the front row. But Dean Fiore jumping in this weekend to have a steer before the Enduros.
Yeah, great to see him out there having a few laps. Local West Australian as well. Ant Peterson there 11th. Morgan Haber beside him, grid 12. Andrew Jones, not such a great qualifying for the BJR pilot, back there in 13th.
38 laps, Murph, the longest race we've ever gone here in the Dunlop Series at Barbagallo. They've got to be patient. Run to turn 1. 38 laps. Who can make the Dunlops last? Who can get the start? Paul Dumbrell is on the right of screen. Good start in the background. Todd Hazelwood weaving his way through. Dumbrell, though, clearly will lead the run to turn 1. Fiore around the outside to third, and everyone's taking it pretty steady on their way through this opening corner. We got 26 cars in. Looks like we got them all out. Look at Fiore. He's up for the challenge here, but has to roll out of the throttle. Slot back in behind Cam Waters, and Chris Bither in the Ice Break Coffee Commodore qualified really strongly too.
They're streaming through turn 5, down the hill to Cobb Corner, turn 6. One of my favourite corners this in Australian motorsports. Just an awesome bit of road down to turn 6. Bit of touch there. Zukanovic looking to get down the inside.
That was on Aaron Russell in the ex-Jim Beam car. Look at Walsh. He's pulled that margin back already. The end of lap 1, it's Paul Dumbrell that leads the way. Remember, he's doing this series to get his eye in for the Enduro Cup, where he'll team up with Jamie Whincup. There's Andrew Jones, new look car this weekend. Freightliner on board, the Brad Jones Racing Commodore. Dumbrell and Walsh, 1 and 2. Cam Waters, FBR's Young Gung, he's third. Then Fiore, then Pither. Gary Jacobson, nice start. Todd Hazelwood, young rookie, up to 7th. Jack LeBrock, Ant Pedersen and Heimgartner round out to 10, and a bit of dirt there for them to contend with on this second lap through.
Again, everybody probably very aware of how long this race is. You don't want to run wide here. You don't want to lock a brake early on in the piece. Everyone being pretty good. There's Paul Morris looking on at Andre Heimgartner. This battle here, Zukanovic and Russell continues. But Walsh looking strong, looking very racy, shows his nose. Down under brakes, and puts it in, but has to back out of it slightly. Paul Dumbrell runs a little bit wide, comes back on the track. Walsh definitely putting him under pressure as Heimgartner runs wide on the exit as well of the last turn. Very easy thing to do here at Barbagallo. Morris is putting the nose of the Sergeant Security Falcon down the inside. Unable to do it this time. The Freightliner Commodore, Andrew Jones, looks on. Didn't qualify very good for this race. Would have expected a lot better from Jones to be further up the field. Already a bit of attitude there from the Eggleston Motorsport car of Paul Dumbrell. Cam Waters.
Fast man on the road, though, Murph. Dean Fiore, 58.9 on that first flying lap. Remember, he's never done the Dunlop Series before, Carrera Cup and main championship. This is where all that dirt was from.
This is why we've got a bit of dirt on the road, bit of action there. McGill losing the underfloor there at the back of his car.
And Jim Polosina gets it, I reckon.
He's just going to make it unusable.
Headbutts it to the corner. This is Jack LeBrock. Now, we should point out this silver Ford, normally driven by Taz Douglas. He's not racing this weekend, and Jack's moved across different cars within the one team. Michael Hector here, Gulf Western Oil Ford. Oh, this is interesting. Cam Waters, car 56, championship contender. He's third. He's under investigation for a starting procedure issue. We're not sure what the issue is. It's just come up on our timing screen. Brett Stewart, car 73, is the other one of them, but it's important to Cam Waters. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that one, but this is the fight at the tail of the 10, which is still important because tomorrow we reverse the top 10 finishes from this race for the grid tomorrow. I don't agree with it. I don't think we need it anymore because the competitiveness of this series is really, really good, and you're giving a free kick to guys who've got cars that can then win races.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of it as Ash Walsh looks again down the inside of the last corner. This time he's going to put the nose in there and get it done.
Oh, no!
Turns in. Didn't give Walsh room at all and turned in. Walsh did a very good job there to avoid a bigger contact. So the action is on. Dumbrell's not willing to give anything away at the moment. LeBrock and Jacobson still going at it. Jacobson's teammate and Pedersen from New Zealand right behind. Heimgartner behind him. and Paul Morris looking on from behind. So not a lot of change going on there, but the action is at the front. These two are battling. Waters is closing in. Still another fastest lap for Waters on the last one as well. So definitely got the pace. We'll have to see how good that NZ Falcon is, because we don't want him to be using up those tyres too much too early.
Remember, Murph, it's a Ford Performance Racing car run by FPR as well. They've had good history here over the last couple of years with the current new generation cars in the championship, but also the previous model, the older spec cars that we run in the Dunlop series. But Walsh has got pace, but not quite enough to get through on Dumbrell. Here's Dumbrell's two teammates. This is Ant Pedersen, the Kiwi, down the inside on Gary Jacobson, and the door's open, so Andre Heimgartner will charge through. Paul Morris will go through. We saw this in the championship race. One guy gets you, but you're still stuck because the door's wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacobson's lost a lot of spots after that great starting position in 6th. He has just plummeted back through the field down to 11th. Rihanna's in the pit lane.
Yeah, Greg, just to update you with Cam Waters, the team on the grid was working on the car after the 1 minute signal, so that is why he's under investigation.
Yeah, thanks, Rihanna. I thought that might be the case. There's rules where the team needs to leave the grid after the 1 minute signal, and they were still there at that time, so they're under investigation for that one. It'll probably get looked into after this event, I think.
We'll wait and see. We'll keep an eye on this throughout the course of this 38-lap race. Paul Dumbrell leads the way. The first of two races for the weekend for the Dunlop Series. It's their third round. Cam Waters, he might have something hanging over him from the start line, but he's got a fast car. He's right on the back of Ash Walsh, but for the moment, it's the former series champ, Paul Dumbrell. He leads the way. Lap 7, and Paul Dumbrell leads, but the top four, it's tight. Ash Walsh, Cam Waters, Dean Fiore, guest driver this weekend. He's going to do another round at Townsville too to get himself ready for the Enduros. He'll team up with Michael Caruso for the Norton Hornets. This is Andre Heimgartner with Ant Pedersen, just another couple of Kiwis that have joined into the Dunlop Series this year, and Paul Morris right behind, who would be pretty happy with life. He's in the top 10. He's on target for a pole position tomorrow, and his endurance partner, Chaz Boston's having a great weekend too.
And the action's not giving up here. Heimgartner giving, as we see, Waters now down the inside of Walsh. That little exchange just a lap earlier gave Paul Dumbrell a bit of a gap. Waters car is fast. He turns across Dean Fiore. There's a lot of that going on down in that corner. Walsh's car doesn't look as good as what we thought it might be. He's on the defensive right now from Fiore, and he's got to get back in that rhythm. I don't think the car's as bad as what it is. The exchange he had with Waters certainly has unsettled the back of the infant's friend car a little bit, and he just needs to get that rhythm back going. And in the meantime, it's given Dumbrell a little bit of a lead.
Dean Fiore, he is driving for MW Motorsport, Matthew White's team. This is the ex-Mark Winterbottom car from a couple of years ago that was very effective here in that fight with Will Davison and Jamie Whincup that went all the way to the wire. But this has given Dumbrell a margin. It's given Cam Waters a bit of a margin as well. So the top three in this race are all Enduro Cup co-drivers. Some of them are here to do the Dunlop Series to try to win it. Some are here to just keep their miles up because they've been there and done it and been successful in the lower categories. But this is a long race. Last year, we had an 18-lap race followed by another 18 and then a 20-lapper. We're doing two 38-lap races, so completely different mindset required 12 months later. Pit lane penalty has been called for Cam Waters, so this plucks him out of second. And when there's only two races in the weekend and there's points on the line for both of them, this will sting him. And it's a 7-round series, Greg. It's not a massive 14-round. There's not this infinite time left in the year to get those points back. This one could really just wipe him out of championship contention. We're at round 3 of 7. Paul Dumbrell here is the points leader. He won the first round on the streets of Adelaide. Ash Walsh is second. He led. Now, this is what's going on. Damien White to the left
rubbing
is copying it from Tim Edwards.
Yep.
The shrug of the shoulders says...
And you can see what's going on here. He's arguing the fact, does this fit the crime? And Damien will be arguing, well, these are the rules. This is the way it's written. I didn't make the rules. I'm just putting them in place and enforcing them. So it's a real tough one, certainly for Damien there, to have to argue this with a team owner who's irate, as you can see with Tim Edwards. He is absolutely furious.
I reckon right now is a good time for Rihanna to sneak down there and go and have a chat to Tim. I think that's all part of the gig.
That's a super idea.
She's right there too.
Yeah, I am right here, guys. Tim Edwards, obviously a heated argument with Damien White in regards to Cam Waters and the drive-through that he has copped. What are you saying to Damien?
Well, in Tasmania earlier this year, Betty Clemenco was still on the grid after the 1 minute signal. I actually spoke to Damien at the time about that. So it's exactly the same situation, and they had a quiet word. So, you know, it's just not right.
And Damien's response to your disregard for wanting to take the penalty?
He can't remember what happened in Tasmania.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Just been watching this year so far, Greg. Andre Heimgartner here stepped into the series winning car from Matthew White's team. You've raced him a lot in the Super Tours in New Zealand. He's close, but he doesn't look like he's quite had the breakthrough weekend here in the Dunlop Series just yet.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised because he has shown glimpses of brilliance and, you know, as good as anybody else. And it's that consistency. It's being able to get to the next race meeting and make that next, you know, fit that next gap and just take the next step forward. And he hasn't quite managed to do that just yet. Had some great qualifying performances here. You know, luck always plays a part in all these things. At the moment, he's definitely looking a bit pacier than Morris, and I think he might try and slot down the inside here. Morris probably won't fight too hard. Yeah, he gives him a little bit of room. Heimgartner slots the Finance Easy Falcon down the inside. Morris is going to switch back, though, and come down turn one up the inside, so he's not going to make it easy.
Normally the fight for 8th, 9th and 10th isn't the fight for pole position, but it's unique. It is in the Dunlop Series because tomorrow we flip the finishes around. 10th goes to 1st, 1st goes to 10th. And this, Greg Murphy, is the fight for the tail of the top 10 and pole position. It sounds so strange, but that's what it is for. Paul Morris, Andre Heimgartner, Andrew Jones, Gary Jacobson and Marcus Zukanovic in that blue Ford. The ex-FPR car is just at the tail of this queue. Lock-up coming. Jacobson with the right front cooked, and Jones gave him room, saw him coming.
And he's just trying to get back up the inside. A bit of rough and tumble there. That right-hand tyre of Gary Jacobson's is not going to be in good shape. It's not going to like the fact it's still got another 20 laps to go. Jones
he's hit him on the way through.
This is not good.
Left front damage for Andrew Jones. Freightliner Commodore goes through the scenery.
That's not a good exchange there.
That didn't need to happen.
No, it should not have happened. Not a display of the right kind of driving from these guys.
They've had a couple of weird things go this weekend. I was standing in pit lane, I think it was yesterday, and the car had been brought into the lane for practice. Just going to finish that point of Andrew Jones. They dropped the car with no wheels on it onto its belly in the pit lane. Look at this, though. Morris gets the move done. So hasn't been a good weekend for the Freightliner BJR team. This is Morris and Heimgartner, 8th and 9th. Zukanovic now moves into the 10, and Cam Waters, remember before the break, pit lane penalty for a start procedure infringement. The crew was still on the grid past the 1 minute board. He has moved from 2nd. He is now 13th.
Now, it looks like to me Jacobson's watching his mirrors. He did. Looking at his mirrors more than looking ahead. He went to block Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Not a smart move at all at that speed coming over the hill like that. So there's going to be obviously an investigation to that one because Jacobson, I believe, in my opinion, had a big part to play in that exchange.
Uncle Brad watching on. Brad Jones there. He's got another car running well, though. Chris Pither is having a nice run. The Ice Break Coffee Commodore sits in P4, but it's Paul Dumbrell, the former Bathurst champ. He's still controlling this one. 7/10 is the margin. Lap 20. Long way to go in Perth. Well, 12 years ago, Paul Dumbrell won the Dunlop Series. It wasn't called the Dunlop Series then, it was that long ago. But he's back this year, and he's running at the front, but he's a little wide. But, Ash Walsh is making ground. He's been reeling in the number 88 Commodore. They are 1 and 2 in the series point score. They're 1 and 2 in the race. And their main contender against them, Cam Waters, has had a pit lane penalty. The update on him, he's got his way back up to 11th, but he's now 21 seconds behind the lead of the race.
Yeah, this battle here up the front is pretty interesting. Ash Walsh has been incredibly patient there. There's Cam Waters. He will be seething inside that car for that penalty. A penalty I don't really think fits the crime. I really don't believe that the driver should be penalised for a team infringement, especially one that has no effect on the outcome of the race itself. So disappointing for him, but he is driving very, very well and making his way back up through the field.
I guess the only issue with that is, Murph, with the 1 minute cut-off for the crew to leave the grid, if they're working on the car, they've got a problem, they're trying to get it sorted. It's really the only other case. It might be just a case of getting your timing wrong and not hustling back over the fence quick enough. But Cam Waters is in the car. He's bolted in. He can't do anything about it. So let's get the alternative viewpoint on this. Rihanna's grabbed Damien White from V8 Supercars to explain the situation.
Yeah, thanks, Noons. Damien, clearly an emotional Tim Edwards. He's upset about inconsistency of rules. Please clarify, what is the grid procedure?
Well, the rule that they did breach was at the 1 minute signal, all of the crew have to be moving away from the car. Now, where Tim, my understanding is concerned with the inconsistencies is at Tasmania, we had Betty Klemenko on the grid after the 1 minute signal. And this is a good example of where there's recommended penalties and allowing the stewards to apply some variation depending on the extent of the breach is a really good example. In Tasmania, we had a team owner just standing on the grid. Here, we had two team personnel, mechanics, in the car doing some work after the 1 minute signal. Clearly, that's an advantage for a driver, whereas having Betty on the grid's no advantage to the driver. So the stewards in this case, in my mind, have applied exactly the right penalty.
This comes off the back of the recent documents that were open to public viewers to state that are recommended penalties for various things.
It's not only the bit that's recommended, but we've really reinforced now that the stewards have that authority to go up or down on that recommended based on the extent that the rule was breached.
Thanks, Damien.
No problem.
And that paints the picture on what was unfolding there, because there were personnel still working on the car. It wasn't a case that they were standing around and just got the timing wrong.
And
so
it could have been a cool suit. They could have been putting dry ice on the cool suit. We don't know what that was at this stage. Maybe we'll find out later. But in the meantime, Paul Morris is teaching Andre Heimgartner a lesson.
You could put it that way.
He is teaching him a lesson, and he has helped him a lot in the last few years, working with him, doing a bit of mentoring with him, driven with him in New Zealand in the endurance series. But he is teaching him a lesson. And this has given Cam Waters the opportunity to catch these guys and hopefully maybe get another couple of spots pretty soon. His car does look a bit more pacey. Will Heimgartner have another dive down the inside? He's done it about 3 or 4 times so far. Hasn't been able to hold the position, though, once he has got past Paul Morris. As we see, Waters trying to get a run. It's getting harder and harder every lap. The times now have dropped into the 1 minute section. As we see Ash Walsh and there's a touch from Waters saying, come on, get out of my way. That's not the way it's supposed to be done, though. I hope that doesn't incur any further penalty from the officials.
Paul Morris has a bit of a history at Barbagallo in the Dunlop series with young drivers. Remember that feud he had with Nick Percat a couple of years ago that seemed to stretch on for a couple of rounds. I got a feeling, though, he started that, though.
Didn't it? Look at Waters down the inside into
too fast.
Corner, easy.
Don't forget Morris is an FPR Enduro driver, and that's an FPR car going past. He's not silly.
No, it wouldn't have had anything to do with it. Surely not. Here's the battle at the front.
Yeah, lap traffic, though, coming into play here, Murph. Jim Pollicina stepping aside.
Long way around for the boys.
Yeah, did okay, though.
Paul Dumbrell doing a good job here, though. Ash Walsh clearly got a little bit more speed on, but there's not much he can do with it. It's really tricky trying to manage the tyres. Finally, Andre Heimgartner gets reprieve from the Sergeant security car and gets ahead. That battle has been raging for some time.
Look at this. It's on. Paul Dumbrell still leads. Ash Walsh is still second. Dean Fiore is coming on strong in the run home. He's looked after his tyres. So too is this man, Chris Pither, Ice Break Coffee Commodore from Brad Jones's team. Paul Forgey's been on the radio to him. He's engineered all race. It's okay. You're looking after the tyres. They will come back to you. Paul Forgey knows his stuff.
He does.
Morgan Haber. He's borrowed. Now.
Yes.
6 laps to go. He's not getting out by himself.
Is there going to be a localised yellow, or will there be a safety car? Cam Waters could benefit from this. He's currently 7th.
Safety car.
Safety car out.
Yeah. Is it DIY? Was there assistance? I reckon it's by himself by the looks of things.
Yeah, as the camera moved there, another car to go past, so we're not too sure if he did get help or not. He was by himself at the time, behind the battle that had been going on between Paul Morris and Andre Heimgartner. But needless to say, hopefully we will get a restart once that car gets pulled from the sand here at Barbagallo Raceway, and we'll get to see some action between the top 4. Unfortunately, with the safety car, the race will finish.
And we should point out, too, the safety car's turned its lights off. It will head... Oh, there's a drummer in the background here. Guys not paying attention.
No.
This happens too much in the Dunlop series.
Andre Heimgartner off the road.
Now the safety car will peel off to the pit lane and everyone will accelerate, run across the line, nose to tail. No passing, yellow flag situation continues, but Dumbrell will at least take the flag and take his second race win of the year.
And guys, still not aware of what the rules and regulations are there.
Sometimes. Either way, it's a shame to finish because that was a great race between Paul Dumbrell and Ash Walsh. So they're 1-2. We'll have another race tomorrow. Dean Fiore, welcome back to V8 racing. He finished third. Chris Pither, that was a nice job. Todd Hazelwood, that's really great.
Super
Young
result
guy.
for Todd, absolutely.
He's finished fifth for Matt Stone Racing. Jack LeBrocky's best run for Image Racing. Waters back to seventh. Pedersen and Heimgartner. The dude is on pole for tomorrow. He finishes 10th in that one. Rihanna Crean's in the lane, though, with our race winner.
Paul Dumbrell, you're the series leader in the Dunlops, and you've had a race win. You've got another one here. Race wins are important, but miles are really what you want.
Absolutely. So actually my first real race win, because I reckon that Clipsal, that was sort of a token gesture the two guys gave me. But no, it's really good. Obviously with the change of rules this year, with co-drivers not being able to drive at a couple of the Friday practice sessions, this is all vital. A few race starts and whatnot, and looking forward to endurance season.
Are you enjoying your time in the Dunlop series?
Yeah, it's good. It's deja vu. It's like, I think, 12 or 13 years ago, which is scary because that was nearly double my age when I did it back then. So, no, show my age, but no, it's a lot of fun. So it's good to see a couple of young guys coming through as well. So, no, a few of those will probably be one to watch in the future.
Another big race tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
There's lots of action still to come on the other side of the break.